So it's Saturday now and I'm in St Andrews, as you can see, and I'm going to go and get a takeaway coffee from a place called Taste. In my opinion, they do the nicest tasting coffee in St Andrews. So I'm going to go and get a coffee just to take out. They don't really have much of a seating area, so it's not that kind of place, but the coffee's really, really good. Coffee, and now I'm going to get my bus over to Dundee because I'm going to go to a shop today in Dundee which has just opened, and it's called Sostrene Grene. Now, I've been in these in London and I've been in them abroad, but I think this year's the first year where they've actually got them in Scotland, and I'm really needing to get some new Tupperware, so I hope they have things like that. I think it's meant to be a bit like IKEA versus Flying Tiger, like that sort of thing, so... So it's Sunday now. I'm actually at home and I'm just having my morning coffee. I actually got this new cup on Amazon just so that I can actually transport my own coffee. I've been buying coffee a lot and it's just like, it feels like something that I think is just something that should be kept for the weekend as opposed to buying coffee every single day. And this is actually so nice. I actually got this on Amazon. I've had this brand before, so it actually works like really well. It does keep the coffee hot, which is good. So yesterday I did go to that shop that I mentioned, the Sostrene Grene one, and I did get some Tupperware, which I will show you. What else did I get in there? Oh, I got this like really cute card that was like a little hippo with a ribbon on it, and I just bought it and stuck it on my fridge. So I got that. No, what was the other thing I got? Oh, what was it? Oh, a new coffee tin. So I was just needing something to just put all my coffee in. So it's like a pale blue colour as well. So I got that. And then after that I went to Starbucks. I got a pumpkin spice latte in there. I just sat and was writing in my phyllo facts for a while. By the way, I never know if it's phyllo or phyllo, and it's like it's spelt the same way as phyllo pastry, but I'm like, I think it's phyllo. Anyway, I was writing in that. Also, just like a side note to that, if you've never used a phyllo facts before, it was a bit of a game changer for me this year because I always felt like I had 100 and like a million different notebooks, like a notebook for gratitude, a notebook for actual planning, a notebook for journaling. But I find with that I've actually got like a colour code system. So I've got specific colours for just writing. I've got the diary in there as well. I've also got like a different colour for doing gratitude. If it's maybe thinking about creative ideas, I've a different colour for that. So I do think that that's kind of solved that problem. So if you do sort of go through millions of planners, millions of journals and notebooks, I think actually something like that, like a clip-in folder, and you've got like a different like colour coding system, I think that can actually work really well. So anyway, I was writing in that for ages and I had the pumpkin spice latte. And then I went to Boots. Now the Boots in Dundee is actually quite good. They have like NARS, they have Laura Mercier, what other brands? They had Clarins had this really nice primer. I was so tempted to buy that primer yesterday. I might still get it. I think it was called SOS primer, and it was like had this really like glow shimmer through it. I was like really tempted. And they also had this really nice like foundation serum, which was really nice on the back of my hand. And they also had a lip gloss as well. So these were all Clarins things. So I was actually quite tempted to just come home and order it. So that was me in Boots. I had a look in TK Maxx. I was tempted to buy like a pink pumpkin for my house, and just use it as decor, but I just feel like actually it's only going to be sitting out for a few weeks now, and then I've got to store it for the rest of the year, so I didn't go back for it. I am slightly regretting that I didn't get this thing. It's like you've probably seen them online. It's like this type of cushion that you can put on your bed that kind of like curves around you, so that if you are sitting up in your bed, maybe like reading or something, it kind of, I don't know, gives you that back support. And it was just so cute. It was like pink with these bows on it, and now I'm like, should I have went for that? I'm not sure. it was just the transporting it home because it was quite bulky, so I just left it. So that was that. So that was yesterday. When I got home, I just did a bit of tidying up and also resorting my cupboards just with the new Tupperware and tin and everything. I just cleared everything out. So this morning, as I say, I'm just sitting here just sipping my coffee. I'm not actually sure what I'm going to get up to the rest of the day. Like, I've got a bit of cleaning to do here, and I'm like, should I go on a field walk or should I go to Bow House, which is down just past St Monans? I've also got my blog post to write this afternoon as well, for the Career Coach's Handbook, which is the blog that I write. So I feel like I've got quite a bit of stuff to do, but I also don't want to just have the whole Sunday in the house. So I'm just like, what should I do? So yeah, that's where I'm at. So anyway, I'll check in with you again and I'll let you know what I decided to do in the end. So I actually just had my coffee in the house. I listened to a bit of classic FM and also just lit my nice Espa lavender candle. It's like a kind of spa smell that it has, which is really nice. And I just think it's just like making these little moments that actually make your life like pleasurable. I think sometimes we can feel like life is this like one big holiday that we have, or you know, it's the wedding or whatever it is. And I feel like life is just those everyday moments, and I think if you just take time to think, how can I make today nice? How can I make it pleasurable? How can I look after myself and my well-being? I think every day can be really special. So yeah, and now I'm out here in this gorgeous field, just enjoying nature, listening to the sounds. That was so peaceful, honestly. I feel so calm now. Like, oh, I should do this more. Like, every time I come out in nature, like, God, using that phrase nature, but every time I do it, I always feel so much better, and I do feel so much calmer in my mind, but sometimes it's just trying to get myself to do it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get home now because I am going to write this blog post. Okay, so it's Monday evening now, and I actually just wanted to pop on here quickly just to talk a little bit about mentoring. It was something I was writing about on my blog this week. So if you don't know, I write a blog called The Career Coach's Handbook, and really it gives like general career tips, and I actually write quite a lot on there about social mobility and inclusivity and things like that as well. Anyway, this week, as I say, I was writing about mentorship and how you actually get a mentor. Sometimes I've like, when I was younger, I used to like think to myself, oh, I want a mentor. And I actually didn't know how to get one. So the first thing I would say is like, don't wait to like actually get a mentor or for someone to like, you know, tap your shoulder and be like, I'll be your mentor. It doesn't really work like that. From my experience, I would say that you have to actively seek out opportunities to be around like the right people. And by the way, I did say this in the blog post as well, you do become an average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. So just like look around and think, do I actually want to be like the 5 people that I'm hanging around with the most? And if the answer to that is no, then you're going to have to seek out like people who can be in your tribe, basically. So first of all, I would say you don't have to always have formal mentors. For example, there's actually some people in my sector that write fantastic blog posts, and I just read their blogs. I think they're amazing people, amazing professionals, and that's kind of as far as it goes. Like, I just read their blog and I kind of follow that template and think, okay, I could do my blog and I could write about this sort of thing, like that kind of way. So it's just like watching and observing other people in your sector. So you can do it that way. The other thing I do is I listen to a podcast every single Monday that I really enjoy, which is about success and growth mindset, that kind of thing as well. So again, that's more like informal, sort of more like observational mentoring, and that person doesn't even need to know that they are your mentor. But I always think it is quite nice to like then reach out to that person and be like, by the way, I actually consider you to be one of my mentors. So that's one of the ways. The other way I've had a fantastic experience, and I write about this in the blog post, is that I got a mentor through a sort of training program that I was on. So I signed up to a leadership program at my work, and then through the program I was assigned a mentor. And from that experience, I learned a lot about strategy and working within like the higher education sector. So, I mean, you don't have to learn about those things, but you know, you can seek out mentors through different like training programs that you're on as well. So that was probably an example of like a really like more like formal structured kind of mentoring, if that makes sense. The other thing that I have done in the past, if I'm working on a specific project and I'm thinking I've never really done anything like this before, I'm not quite sure how to approach it, I've maybe sought out people in my own sector and, you know, basically said, can you help me with this? Like, I'm not quite sure how to approach it. And generally, 9 times out of 10, people are more than happy to sort of meet with you or whatever. So in this particular instance that I'm thinking of, I reached out to someone on LinkedIn. And I actually spent quite a lot of time actually writing and crafting that initial like message, because I hadn't met the person. I knew of them mutually but never actually met them, so I kind of had to make like quite a good first impression. I didn't ask them to be a mentor, like I didn't say, could you be my mentor? But it was more like written in such a way like, you know, I'm working on this project, would you mind meeting with me for like an hour of your time, like that kind of thing. So they did. We met once online and we had a fantastic conversation. I found it really useful, and from that then we've kind of mutually stayed in contact, but it's not been like a mentoring relationship from that point, if that makes sense. So it's not like we meet every day, every week or something like that. So that's like another example of specific like reaching out to someone like off your own accord to actually ask about a specific thing. The other thing that I would say is don't underestimate like the value of your peers. So like in my case at the moment, like I have a fantastic peer group. So over the past year, I actually established this program called peer-to-peer mentoring, where we actually observed each other's appointments as like careers professionals, like career coaches, and we would give each other feedback and that sort of thing. And I learned a tremendous amount from my colleagues in that. So don't always feel like a mentor has to be someone who's like the CEO of the company. It could literally be your colleagues. And I think from that, I really realised that like everybody has something to offer and you can learn from everyone. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yes. The other thing that I was just going to mention in terms of actually just another idea around mentoring is you can look up to like your leaders and managers as mentors. Again, you don't have to tell them that, you know, you think of them as being a mentor, but just like watch their behaviours, like how do they respond to specific, you know, situations and scenarios. I've found that particularly helpful as I've moved into like management and leadership myself, and just thinking like, how did they approach that? How did that work? You know, would I do anything differently, or would I just do it the exact same way? So that's the kind of ways in which I would approach gaining a mentor. And like I say, there are different ways to it, but I think my key thing is don't wait to just have someone approach you one day and be like, I'll be your mentor, because it's probably not going to work out like that. So don't be afraid. People, as I say, generally 9 times out of 10 are like really flattered or enthusiastic to help. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that because, like I say, it's the topic that's on my blog this week, and I thought it might be helpful, it might be useful.